friends? We're doing chill vibes today because it's a holiday week. We're squeezing it all in. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to bring it back to the heart and core of private practice skills and talk about marketing your practice. Sometimes I can hesitate to share like my most favorite marketing strategies because I truly believe that you can tailor your marketing strategy for your private practice in a way that fits for you, and that might look absolutely completely different than what works for me, than what works for somebody else. But sometimes it is kind of nice to just share like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what's working for me. And it feels extra appropriate to me right now because there's this like frenzy in the air amongst therapists. At least I'm feeling it. Are you feeling it? Is it just me? In last week's episode, I was talking a little bit about this from the perspective of like, we don't need to play the same game that big tech therapy is playing. We can play our own, small business game because that's what we're doing here. But I'd like to double down on this because there is this sort of like angsty, anxious, frantic energy amongst therapists of like, I need to keep up with like the up-to-date marketing strategies, when in reality, the stuff that's working for me in my practice is really kind of the same stuff I've been doing for a long time. And I just make these tiny minor tweaks as time goes on, but it's still working. So let me just, soothe your anxieties today if you have them. And if you don't have them, maybe you might just like to hear about how I'm approaching marketing my practice. This episode might be a little shorter than usual. It's a shorter work week. So we're keeping it a little more chill for my own well-being. So let's jump in. Here are my current favorite marketing strategies for private practice. Listen, SEO. It's not dead. SEO is not dead. It's just different. But it's kind of the same too. No, it's not the same. The parts that were complicated have gotten less complicated. I've been talking about SEO since the beginning of this channel. I love SEO. If you're not familiar with SEO, it stands for search engine optimization. Basically, if somebody does a search on Google or anywhere on the internet and they're looking for a therapist like you hope that your practice shows up in those search results. Back in 2016, SEO looked like figuring out exactly what people were typing into their search query when they were looking for a therapist like you, making sure your words lined up perfectly with what they were typing in, and then using certain strategies for how you insert that into your website, amongst other things like making sure other people are linking to your website, and there's some other tools, of course, involved there. I hit that hard in 2016. It worked so well for me because so few therapists were doing that at the time. And since then, SEO looks so different, I think for the better, in my humble, honest opinion, because you don't have to do all this research to try to nail that search term. Google is smart enough to know what you're talking about. So if you're using a synonym, like if I'm using the word therapy and somebody is searching with the word counselor or something like that, like Google gets it. Like, okay, counseling and therapy are like the same, they're looking for the same thing. You don't have to like get that exact word perfect in how you phrase it on your website. And so if you create a website that is specific and clear about what you do, what you're about, who you serve, how you help them, answer their frequently asked questions, then that's a lot more what SEO looks like right now. And SEO is like, it's not just search engine optimization like Google searches, but now SEO is just everywhere. Like people could be asking Alexa for a therapist. People could be going to ChatGPT asking for local recommendations for therapists specializing in something. So let me repeat, SEO is still working so well for me. This is the way that my practice is staying full primarily. The other things that I'm going to mention are also very useful, but this is the primary way that I get inquiries, and inquiries from people who reliably are a really good fit to work with me. One thing that is different about SEO now compared to before is I think the more specialized, the more specific we can get, the easier it is to kind of flag to search engines who we are and what we're about. Like if we just say like, I'm an anxiety therapist, that's going to be harder to win that SEO game than if it's like, I'm an anxiety therapist specializing in, religious OCD in teens, and I use this specific technique. I mean, now I'm getting way too specific, but the more information we can have about like how niched down we are, the more success and the easier time we're going to have success with SEO. Another marketing tool that has worked for me, again, continuously since 2016, I'm not joking, is Google Business Profile. People should talk about this more. Basically, when you're like looking for, I don't know, a place to eat nearby, a coffee shop, and you Google it, and on your Google search, a map will show up if it thinks you're looking for something local. Like if I search like coffee near me, Google is gonna spit up a map with some coffee shops nearby, right? Even if I haven't opened my Maps app, the way that Google pulls up that list of places is through Google Business Profile. I think a lot of therapists shy away from having a Google Business Profile, understandably, because it seems to emphasize soliciting reviews. I personally have opted not to solicit reviews. I mean, if someone chooses to leave a review, they have the freedom to. As far as I remember, I don't think anyone has done that on my business. But it shows my address, location. I show up in those maps results. So if somebody's looking for a therapist near them, my profile might show up in those maps results. Most of the time, I think, if I'm understanding correctly, most of the time people aren't searching and then like clicking on the Google Maps and then that's how they reach out. The first time, maybe they might initially kind of see me that way, but then still need to click over on my website and all that. But here's why I think Google Business Profile is like super king right now. And if you don't have one, make one. That's my recommendation. It's so simple. AI recommendations pulls from Google Business Profile. It's very clear. I made an episode a few episodes back about how I realized I'm accidentally showing up in AI recommendations when at that point I hadn't done anything to try to optimize my practice for showing up in AI, but potential clients were finding me that way. And I'm like, how does AI know I'm here? And when I looked into it, it seemed very clear that AI is pulling a lot of information from my Google Business Profile. It seems to make my business look more authentic in AI's eyes. I used to have a whole training about setting up your Google Business Profile. It got a little bit out of date, so I've since taken it down. But if you're interested in just like a little how-to, like a little refresher on how to set up Google Business Profile, let me know in the comments and I'm happy to make a whole episode about it. It is very simple, so it's worth it. And you don't have to like keep updating it. You could just set it up one time and kind of like almost never touch it if you want, and it's still totally worth it. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, the theme, those two items have stuck around with me for a long time. They just have paced with the changes of the times where they are working with AI now, but SEO and Google Business Profile have been around for a long time, and now AI is just sort of like picking up that baton and continuing to carry it forward so that my AI marketing strategy doesn't look like throwing out SEO, throwing out other online practices like Google Business Profile. It just looks like letting AI take the baton of all that work. We don't need to start from scratch. It's okay. And that brings us to my third favorite marketing strategy that still works, and that's networking. I know when I'm talking about networking, I'm just talking about fostering intentional relationships, period. If there's anyone in the professional land who seems cool or interesting, end of story. Like, I try to reach out and make a relationship if it seems like we would get along. It's not like who's the biggest like referral network and like let me plug into that. It ties into what I was saying earlier about how SEO is about being more specific. And so it's not just like, hey, networking source, referral source. I'm a therapist and I'm taking referrals. Like I would love for you to send me your referrals. If someone seems cool, just like invite them to hang out. And maybe it's less like, hey, now that we're hanging out, do you have any referrals for me? And it's more of like, hey, you seemed really interesting because like you said on your website or your profile or wherever you found this person. You know, you said that you're really passionate about XYZ, and that really caught my attention because I'm super interested in that too. And I'd love to hear more about, you know, what you know there. Maybe we can trade notes kind of thing. And just enjoy your time together. And those kinds of relationships do naturally increase referrals. But I think the emphasis on that one is that if it's authentic, it's a lot more likely to work. Like you genuinely are interested in talking to this person. And if you're not like a big talking to people kind of person, that's okay. Or it could even just be like online networking, that sort of thing, especially in this day and age, if that's a good fit for you. I do better if like I can transition to an in-person thing because that's my vibe. But if you're vibing with the online land, with the DMs and all that, have at it. That's not my dream, but if it's yours, it could still work. And the last piece that is like an important mention because it still works is word of mouth. Like I have so many referrals from existing clients or former clients recommending the friend of the friend, that sort of thing. And those tend to be a really good fit. I think the strategy with that one is really just, you know, doing what we can to offer a connective therapeutic alliance and of course helping our clients move towards their goals within our reasonable tools and power and empowering them to move towards their goals. Then yeah, some of those clients are going to tell other people about us. And also, I do get some referrals because people know me from private practice skills. Okay, that's just, I'm on the internet, people see me on the internet, and then they might recommend me to somebody who could be a good fit. And that's also a nice little dent in my caseload. So appreciate that. I'm curious to hear from you. Like if you have a marketing strategy that is just working for you, not just working in the sense of like bringing in referrals, but also like it's jiving with you, like it feels aligned, you're maybe enjoying it. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment so others can kind of get inspired from what's working for other people. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes helps with all of your practice management needs, from scheduling to notes to billing. They have a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform included for free for all users and a suite of AI features to streamline your documentation process. If you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, thank you, my friends, for joining me. I hope you're finding ways to bring joy into your practice. I hope you might even find ways to bring joy into marketing your practice. And I'm telling you, the more aligned your specialties and your focus are with your own values, your own passions, your own joys, the more you're going to enjoy marketing your practice. So on that note, until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well.